Today we're breaking down the 12 healthiest foods you should be eating every morning, not based on trends, not influencer hype, and not wishful thinking. These are foods that actually change how your body behaves throughout the day, and some of them might surprise you. Let's start with the food that's been argued over for decades. Eggs. For years, eggs were villains, too much cholesterol, too risky, too indulgent. Then science did something inconvenient. It changed its mind. An egg is one of the most efficient packages of nutrition you can eat. Protein that your body actually uses, fats that keep hormones stable, vitamins that support your brain before you even check your email. Here's the mechanism most people miss. Protein early in the day reduces hunger later. Not by willpower, by chemistry. When you eat eggs in the morning, you blunt the blood sugar roller coaster that makes people snack, crash, and overeat by noon. You don't feel disciplined. You just don't feel desperate. That's leverage. Next comes a food that looks innocent, but can go very wrong. Greek yogurt, not the sweet neon-colored stuff pretending to be healthy, the plain, unsweetened kind. This is where hype and reality split. Greek yogurt works because it's dense. High protein, slow digestion, loaded with probiotics that quietly influence your gut and your mood. Your gut isn't just digestion, it's signaling, hormones, even stress response. A protein-rich yogurt in the morning sends a message to your body, we're stable today. No panic, no shortage. Add fruit and you get sweetness without chaos. Skip the sugar bombs and suddenly yogurt stops being dessert and starts being strategy. Now let's talk about a food people eat, but rarely respect. Oatmeal. Most people think oatmeal is healthy because it's boring. That's not why it works. Oats are powerful because of fiber, specifically the kind that slows everything down. Digestion, sugar absorption, hunger signals. Here's the uncomfortable math. When blood sugar rises slowly, insulin stays low. When insulin stays low, fat storage stays quiet. When fat storage stays quiet, energy stays available. That's why oatmeal done right keeps you full for hours. Not because it's magic, because it's slow. But here's the irony. Most people ruin oatmeal by adding sugar and artificial junk, turning a stabilizer into a spike. The food didn't fail, the execution did. Now comes a food that people love and underestimate. Nut butter. It feels indulgent, rich, almost wrong, but fat isn't the enemy, fast fat is. Nut butter works because it's dense, slow, and satisfying. A small amount signals abundance. That matters. People who eat healthy fats in the morning are less likely to binge later. Not because they're better, because their body doesn't feel deprived. There's also something quietly absurd here. Decades of fat fear made people eat more sugar, and sugar made everything worse. Nut butter didn't change, the narrative did. Now let's move into something tiny with an outsized reputation. Chia seeds. They look like nothing, taste like almost nothing, but they behave like a brake pedal. Chia seeds absorb liquid and expand. That's not a fun fact. That's a control mechanism. They slow digestion, extend fullness, reduce spikes. This is why chia shows up in weight loss research again and again. Not as a miracle, but as a regulator. Sprinkle them into breakfast and you quietly reduce the odds of overeating later. No drama, no disciplined speeches. Just physics. Now we hit one of the most polarizing foods of the internet age. Avocado. Avocado toast became a joke, a meme, a symbol of excess. And that irony hides the truth. Avocados are one of the best sources of monounsaturated fats, fats that improve cholesterol profiles and reduce inflammation. Here's the part people miss. Fats like these increase satiety, meaning you stop thinking about food. An avocado in the morning doesn't make you gain weight. It makes you stop snacking like someone who's missing something. Pair it with eggs, and you've built a breakfast that keeps your brain online well into the afternoon. Next up. A food everyone thinks they understand. Bananas. Yes, potassium, everyone knows that. What matters more is resistant starch. Bananas, especially not overly ripe ones, feed your gut bacteria instead of spiking your blood sugar. That means better digestion, better mood, better energy. There's a reason bananas feel comforting without making you crash. They're cooperative. Add them to oatmeal or yogurt and you get sweetness with structure. Now let's talk about something people rarely eat before noon, but probably should. Spinach. Leafy greens don't look like breakfast food. That's cultural, not biological. Spinach delivers folate, magnesium, and compounds that improve blood flow. Translation: better oxygen delivery, better muscle function, better mental clarity. Adding spinach to eggs or smoothies doesn't make breakfast weird, it makes it efficient. And efficiency is the theme here. Next comes a group of foods that feel almost too good to be true. Berries, bright, sweet, small. and quietly one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory foods you can eat. Berries are loaded with antioxidants that protect cells and improve circulation. But here's the twist. They're low in sugar compared to other fruits. That means you get energy without chaos. There's research showing berries help prevent fat formation, not burn fat, prevent it. That distinction matters. Now let's step into less familiar territory, sweet potatoes. They're not breakfast food until they are. Sweet potatoes are low on the glycemic index, high in fiber, and packed with nutrients that support metabolic health. They release energy slowly. That's the key. Swap pastries for sweet potatoes and you're not being healthy. You're avoiding a crash you didn't know was scheduled. Next is a drink people underestimate: black tea. Coffee dominates mornings. Black tea works differently. The caffeine is gentler, the alertness lasts longer, and compounds in black tea support heart health and focus. It doesn't spike you, it steadies you. If coffee feels like a sprint, black tea feels like pacing yourself for a marathon you didn't know you were running. And finally, the wild card: wild salmon. Salmon for breakfast sounds strange until you understand the logic. Omega-3 fats improve brain function, reduce inflammation, support long-term heart health. Eating salmon early doesn't just fuel the morning, it changes the tone of the entire day. It's dense, clean, satisfying. And here's the uncomfortable contrast: people will eat ultra-processed breakfast food every day.